Always great to spend a couple of moments with Army head coach Jeff Monken. And Jeff, I know it's unprecedented what we've been going through the past few weeks, which is right in line with spring football practice for Army football. How have these past few weeks been for you?
They've been different, and I think probably for the rest of the college football world, our entire nation, and around the globe, people are changing the way that they operate their daily lives, working from home, working from remote locations, and meeting via these online platforms, which are great. And it's great to be able to see faces and to be able to talk and interact. But it's different. It's been an adjustment for our staff and for our players. But we're making the most of it.
How are you keeping in touch with your staff, your players, your team? I noticed Connor Hughes is doing some really interesting things with weightlifting. How do you keep in touch with your group, your entire team?
We have staff meetings occasionally throughout the week. With our entire staff, as we would if we were here. We typically do those on a daily basis. We get updates on the health of our players, academics, admissions, player development, whatever it may be. Obviously, with Connor and giving us updates daily on how it's going in the weight room, a little more difficult to monitor all that as we are remotely, but he's doing some great things still, and our guys are using his guidance. They're anxious and want to continue to improve. But we meet almost daily as an offensive staff and defensive staff. So I spent an hour with our defense this morning, and then about 2 hours with our offensive staff, just talking about installation and scheme. And I think really it's valuable time for our coaches to be able to spend together and talk through our schemes in great detail. We meet with our players occasionally, make sure they're doing okay, check on their health and well-being, their families, more concerned about them mentally and emotionally, how they're doing physically with their health, and then talk some football. They enjoy it, and they like the game of football, and I think want to be engaged with what they normally would be doing, which is meeting and looking at film and talking about their position and our offense or defense or special teams, whatever it may be. And then we've had a couple of team meetings where the entire unit, and that's good for our guys. We typically do that on practice days when we get together, and that's just allowed our guys to all be on the call together. And though there's not much conversation with the guys, it's good to have them together. So I think all that's been positive. I'd much rather be doing it face to face, but like a lot of organizations who are accustomed to being together and around each other, we're making it work from home.
Have you gained any different perspective than you would have had being out on the field coaching?
Well, yeah, I think it really is humbling for everyone, not just in our profession and with our team, but for everybody, to not be able to travel to their workplace, to not have all of the people that are a part of our organization and organizations that meet collectively every day or work in the same building every day, to have to do it remotely is really different. Our players are experiencing that with their classes. They're taking all of their spring courses remotely. And certainly early on, it was a big challenge. And I think that is the same for us as a staff and being able to communicate. But we've really figured out, I should say our staff has done a good job of figuring out how to be able to share video and live meetings where we can interact and have conversation. And I think it's been good. It's really forced us to have to adapt, and that's important.
Jeff, I got to ask you now personally at home. You have 3 school-age daughters. You often say on our coaches show you come from a family of teachers and educators. How has it been teaching your daughters?
Thank goodness I married an educator. My wife's a teacher, and by trade, and she's just doing a great job with our kids. My oldest, he doesn't need much help. She's pretty on top of what she's doing. My sixth grader does a good job as well. Beth supports her a little bit and adds to the learning and the teaching that's going on between her and her teachers. And Beth is really involved with our third grader, who at that age they need a lot of help and support. And it's taken a lot of patience, and probably there are parents all over Post here and across the country and around the world that are doing the same with their kids. And I know that there's some times of frustration and learning third grade math, sixth grade math, and beyond. Man, I'm glad I don't have to do that. But my wife's doing a great job, and it just makes me appreciate the challenges that she has as a mother, and being home and having to do all of those things. I could not do that for my kids, and I would need support from their teachers to show me how to get all of that stuff done. And I'm used to teaching guys that are 18, 19, 22, 23 years old. They're grown men for the most part, and sometimes I lose my patience with them, and I'm able to share that frustration with them a little differently than I am a third grader, sixth grader, or a junior in high school. And fortunately, my wife navigates through that pretty well.
Family time, obviously coaching time. You say that's taking up the lion's share of your time. Any hobbies, anything in your free time? What are you doing when you have those couple of moments to yourself?
I didn't have any hobbies when we were coming to the office every day, so I haven't developed any new ones. Really, I get up in the morning and I start in with our staff. We have meetings offensively and defensively. We have meetings as a staff collectively, so that we can all continue to communicate and stay on top of what's going on with the health of our team, the academics, admissions for our new cadets that'll be joining us at some point, the class of 2024. All of those things really in the morning, and then a lot of recruiting, evaluating film, and keeping in touch with prospects and high school coaches, and it's a full day of work, and really there's more work than can be done in a day. It's a lot like being in the office. You can keep going, and then it's at some point you got to turn it off and engage with your family. And what is different is when I stop work in the middle of the day, I have lunch with my kids, and we can play a few Barbie dolls and mess around just with some of their toys, or go outside for a walk, and then get back to work. And I'm really enjoying being able to see them and being around them. But they've got work to do with their schoolwork, and certainly I've got work to do with my obligations here. And so it's finding its way to a balance, and it's not easy. It's a real adjustment. I'm sure that there are households all over the country that are struggling with kids doing classroom work, parents trying to work from home, trying to find different rooms, different areas of the house where it's quiet. Dogs got to go out, all that stuff.
A couple of fun ones. So this past weekend would have been your coach's clinic. It was going to be headlined by Paul Johnson, your mentor. What's the greatest piece of advice a coach has given to you?
Well, I think it's just to be very detailed but brief in your teaching. And as coaches, we spend a lot of time on the film and studying schemes and really preparing ourselves to do the best job that we can. We've got limited time with our players. So what we've got to do is give them as much detail to help them do their job as best they can, but make it as simple as possible. So long, lecture type meetings, they're gonna lose the important points. So just, I think, being very pointed and very brief and very detailed in what you can do in a short amount of time. I think it was Buzz Preston, my first year as a coach, and really it's great advice.
Put you on the spot here. We're counting down the top 10 moments of the Jeff Monken era on social media. What's number one moment for you as Army football coach?
I've been retweeting all those, Rich. Just love hearing your voice.
Someone does. There's someone who does.
I don't know if I can pick a top moment. There have been so many great moments here. I mean, I don't know where to start. I think the opening game of my tenure here, we beat Buffalo, and just a great way to start, to get a victory, to start our tenure as a staff and the program, and to break the streak. I think probably the sense of obligation that I felt coming here as the head coach to break that streak, it was a huge relief for all of us. And for 14 years, and I was on the opposite sideline when it started, and so I think I felt even more of a sense of obligation to end it, and was determined that we were going to do that. Really proud of our team that we did. And though none of those teams were responsible for the game the year before, the seasons that had led up to it, there was this weight that was lifted off of the collective shoulders of the program, and just an incredible feeling to put that behind us, and then to win it the next year, and to win it the next year, and the overtime win in the bowl game down at the Heart of Dallas Bowl was a great victory. This program hadn't been to a bowl game in several years, and to complete that season after losing Brandon Jackson, and just all the emotion that went into that, really incredible. So those are some great moments. I think some of the overtime victories, you had the one about or the stop by James Gibson.
Oh, that was
against Eastern Michigan. I think the stop against Miami of Ohio was a huge game, or a huge moment. The come from behind win against Temple when we tied it up in regulation with 1 second to go, and there's just some great moments. I could go on and on, but every time that I see one of our groups of guys graduate and toss their hat in the air, that's a huge moment. There's just so many great memories from the 6 seasons so far, but I get you're good about remembering those, and I retweet them because I retweet about everything that comes out about West Point. But really, I'm not one to reminisce and sit and think about all the great moments. You can wear your arm out patting yourself on the back. I'm more concerned about what we want to do in the future more than what we've done. I could care less about what we've done. There's more out there for us to do, and I'm looking forward to the moments that are here in the future, and the ones that are to come. The next time we get to play football after all of this health crisis is behind us is going to be a huge moment for college football and for all of us, and there's some great memories to come for Army football.
And that gets into my next question, Jeff. We have a lot of Army football fans watching this. They can't wait to be back at Michie Stadium to see you on the field coaching the Black Knights. What do you have to say to those fans right now?
Well, just hang in there and rest your voices and your feet and your hands, and hopefully the next time we get out there will be a huge roar from our crowd and people that are excited to stand on their feet and jump up and down and clap their hands and really get excited about Army football. And I think the college football world, everybody, the country is anxiously awaiting the return of sports. It's so much a part of our culture. But hopefully the fact that we just aren't sure about when it's coming and when we're going to have a chance to do that again, that we don't take that for granted. And when we do get back out there again, let's enjoy it and celebrate the game of football. It's the greatest game that's ever been invented. And it's a lot of fun here at Army, and it's a huge part of who we are and our opportunity to represent the United States Army, this great academy, the long gray line. And that's not just the players, that's the fans as well, and the kind of atmosphere that's created here at Mikey Stadium. Sports Illustrated named this the #1 college football venue of the 20th century for a reason, and let's make sure we don't disappoint them.
Jeff, always appreciate a couple of moments and look forward to seeing you in person sometime soon.
Let's go to it. Beat Navy.